Hey Alex, good afternoon to you. I think you're calling us from Russia. How are you today? Can you
Hi.
hear? Say, how are you today? How late it
Hey.
is where you are?
I feel perfect. We have the whole team offsite in Turkey. The whole team is here working. We have an internal hackathon as well. So
Oh, nice.
that's going great.
Nice. Where in Turkey are you guys?
It's Antalya.
Oh, nice. That's sounds like a cool thing. How big is the whole team?
Yeah, we have 25 people. That's mostly only the product part of the team.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah.
Oh, sounds really cool. Yeah, like we do miss offsites. I think we haven't done an offsite with the team since 2019. So I'm getting really jealous when I hear that you guys, do an offsite in Turkey. Love to, do the same with the team here.
Yeah,
Nice, nice.
that's really important, especially now during this time when everyone works remotely to get a chance to connect with each other. Yeah.
Exactly, completely agree. Right, haven't seen most of the team members for quite a while yet. So yeah, thank you for joining us today. Very happy to have you here and hosting the workshop for build on Rarible Protocol. It's part of NFT Vision Hack, right? Just tell people everything about what they need to know and what they should know about Rarible and particularly Rarible Protocol. Kind of brief them on available developer resources, brief them a little bit on the mission and the vision. And yeah, just, kind of give them some guidance and some cool hackathon ideas. And I think you have a whole bunch of things planned out for today. So, without further ado, I would just, give it to you and, let you manage manage the show here tonight.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you for having me here today. I'm super pumped to present our vision for the protocol to all of you guys. Uh, so I probably want to start with just a little bit of history around Rarible. Well, probably a lot of you have heard about the project and know what we're doing, but just to recap, we are a little bit less than 2 years old. We went live on November 2019. Back then, the NFT space was really quiet, and we had a lot of time to sit, reflect, and innovate on the space. And initially, we launched with just the small minting tool and the marketplace, just one page where all the items that got minted was displayed, and that started to grow quite quickly. So like we grow probably like 2 times a month. It feels slowly at the beginning, but then it's like just the hockey stick. Uh, and we learned a lot during this 1.5 years, and one of the things that we learned is that it's really hard to build a marketplace just because the marketplace needs liquidity. The few first sellers that got to Rarible had really hard times to sell because there wasn't enough buyers, and the first buyers who got to Rarible had just hard times to pick something up because the supply wasn't that big. And it's a known thing. It's called a cold start problem, when you need to really get the wheel going, and then as more buyers you have, the more sellers are coming, and vice versa. And that turned out to be one of the most probably successful things that Rarible did, is the liquidity mining program that we launched for the marketplace. We started rewarding people for participating in the sales, and that helped us to bring some initial liquidity to the marketplace. And now we want to give that really to everyone. So we've built the protocol with this core idea in mind, that we want all the projects to have the shared liquidity among each other. So all the items that get sold or bought on Rarible, they are a part of the protocol. And if you're adopting protocol, you would get an instant access to the liquidity of the whole Rarible inventory, as well as the whole Rarible user base. If you want to sell something, if you're putting something for sale on the protocol, you get the whole Rarible user base to see it. And you have a nice page to buy. You can direct people to the interface if you don't get it to the top sellers or any top collection on Rarible, you can use the infrastructure, and it's extremely hard to build the infrastructure as well. So that you get for free using Rarible Protocol. But again, I want to highlight that the core idea is to get the shared liquidity to offer all the items to dwell into the connected space. Right now, Rarible.com, the website, is basically the biggest client of Rarible Protocol. It's built on top of Rarible Protocol. It uses the API that Rarible Protocol have built for you as well. So basically, you can build a complex marketplace, any great project on top of that protocol, as we just proved to do with Rarible. And I won't probably jump straight into the features yet, or I will. So we really made the protocol really. We made the protocol to be flexible and agile, so that you can really express your creativity when you're building on top of it. It supports this. The Rarible protocol consists of 3 parts. The first part is the minting part, the this asset smart contracts that you can create an asset in. I'm not sure. Can participants raise a hand here, or?
I don't think we have the raise hand function also, but I think they can put something in the chat.
In the chat, okay, yeah. So can you please briefly just put in the chat if you want to use the Rarible asset? Oh, you can actually make a cap, and yeah. So please raise a hand or put something in the chat if you want to use the Rarible smart contract for creating assets. Or the second option would be if you want to use your own contract. Both things are acceptable. The protocol, you can either use our own smart contract to mint in it, or you can create your own collection. Just drop in the chat your own or collection. Okay, we see someone would use their own smart contracts in the protocol. Somebody said they would use protocol, simpler. Who else? Rarible. Okay. Yeah, so it's 2-1 so far. Oh, okay, it's 2-2. Oh, ERC 721 compliant contract. Solana. Oh, it's actually, yeah, that would be hard times. The Rarible protocol doesn't support Solana yet. That's probably an important thing to mention. Yeah, Rarible protocol is only deployed to Ethereum mainnet, Ropsten, and Brinkebuy networks. We plan to deploy it to Polygon and Moonbeam at some point in time. So, but so far that wouldn't be possible to build in Solana. Solana also have an EVM support, so at some point we would get on Solana as well, but only to the part of Solana that gets EVM. Okay, Rarible. We have 2 more answers, 3 more answers. Rarible. Okay, cool. So yeah, I think a lot of people would use Rarible smart contracts. It isn't the limitation, but Rarible smart contracts, we have a set of 2 smart contracts for minting. It's ERC 721 and ERC 1155. They support such nice features as multiple creators. So for the creators, you can mint an item that would be consisted of several creators, and each of these creators need to mint. Each of these creators need to sign the minting data, and then they are like collective, and only one of them just then submitting to the smart contract. And that's a nice way to implement collaborations. Also, Rarible smart contracts allow you to build in royalties inside the item as well. So it's like baking in the royalties structure into the item, and then that item gets the item royalties gets respected by the Rarible marketplace. And Rarible protocol smart contract, the exchange smart contract. For example, foundation implemented this royalty structure, and now every item from the foundation that is selling on Rarible, the original owner receives part of the secondary sales fees. So yeah, the Rarible protocol consists of three layers. The first one is the asset layer. It's either the asset created on Rarible protocol, or it's your own asset, your ERC, any ERC 721 or ERC 1155 compliant assets can be minted, it can be used in the protocol. The second layer is the exchange smart contract. So the exchange smart contract, the architecture of our exchange smart contract is it's a matching engine that takes as an input two orders. One of them is sell order and another one is buy order. And these orders are stored off-chain. So it's off-chain storage of orders, and it's on-chain execution of orders. So for example, if you see any item that gets selling on Rarible, it's listed on Rarible for a specific price. What that means is that there is actually a sell order created for that item. And in order to buy that item, you need to create a buy order, and then you need to submit these two orders into smart contract to get them exchanged. So that's the exchange function of our protocol. It gets a little bit more complicated than this, just because in order for our smart contract to be able to exchange, the smart contract actually needs an approval from you, an approval to just be able to take the NFT from the owner wallet and give it to the buyer, and vice versa, to take the ERC20 token from the owner wallet and send it to the seller. Okay, so that's just the brief, the general architecture. Let's get into the questions further. The general architecture of the smart contract wallet. We have a couple links with workshops of the previous hackathons. I can share that with you later when we've got into details a little bit more, just for you to have more information. And the third layer of Rarible protocol is an indexing service. So what that indexing service is doing, it's indexing at first all the ERC20 balances, just because we need to know if that person has enough money to cover his bid. So we're indexing all the balances of the ERC20 tokens, of the specific set of tokens, and you can query like the balance, the current balance, or the previous balance of that wallet to understand how many tokens, how much, like what's the balance in the ERC20 token is there on the user's wallet. And then we are indexing the NFT balances, not the NFT balances, but the NFT ownerships. There is the indexing API where you can query which NFTs belong to the specific wallet, which NFTs belong to the wallet with the specific address. You can query each NFT in the specific collection. You can query each NFT just all together. So it's an indexing service that you can use to understand the specific NFT, like who is the owner of that. And this is the very important part, just because if you want to create an order, you need to understand that there is an NFT that user owns. So you can create a sell order for that. So that's the three major parts of Rarible protocol. It's the contract for this isn't yet available on Polygon. I'm seeing the question from the chat. So unfortunately, no. We plan to deploy that on Polygon in the following two months. So it's not yet ready, but it will be. So if you plan to create a project on Polygon, my suggestion for you would be to start to create the project on Rinkyby network or Ethereum mainnet, and then just to transfer that to Polygon as soon as we've got the protocol deployed to Polygon. I don't know, any questions so far? It's probably too vague so far to ask questions. I probably need to dive a little bit further, but just the first reaction. Good to go further. Okay, great. So let me share the screen. Can I share the screen?
Yeah, should be fine.
Okay, I'm sharing the screen.
Fantastic. You can see it. Thank you so much.
Okay, you can see it. Okay, so the Rarible.org is the website that you want to use if you want to use Rarible Protocol. It's not yet fully released. It's pre-released for the hackathons for you guys, early adopters, and it has these two best resources for you. It's documentation and it's API reference. It has some information about which features does the protocol support. For now, it's multiple creators. It's gasless minting. It's a lazy minting. A lot of people are big fans of this particular feature. It allows you to create NFTs that aren't created until they are bought. I just open up the chat to make sure that they can see the questions. It's unlockable content for NFTs. You can hide arbitrary content inside NFT so that only the new owner, somebody who bought the NFT, would be able to look at it. And it also has the royalty splits. So when you're setting up royalties, you can set up multiple addresses with multiple just percentages to make sure that they all receive the respectful part of the royalties. Then there is a full NFT index, yeah, with L2 chains getting soon, and that's one of the best features that I haven't yet covered. So if you create your product on top of Rarible Protocol, you can actually instantly start monetizing that. So every order that is submitted to the protocol, either a buy order or a sell order, it comes from the specific front end, from the specific origin where this order was created. So that origin can actually include the specific origin fee into the order. So if the order gets matched, the origin gets paid with the fees. That's one of the most demanded features of the protocol. For example, you want to buy, and Rarible.com using that feature as well. So initial fees of the protocol are 0. They would go up a little bit at some point in futures, but for now it's 0. And the Rarible.com fees, they are set up as the origin fees on top of the protocol. So if you want to build a marketplace, or you want to build an issuance tool, or you want to be the storefront for NFTs, you can set up an additional fee on top that would get sent to you as soon as this order matched. And that works both for buy orders and for sell orders. So if, for example, you create a minting tool and you only do the sell part of the equation, you only bring people who sell their items, and you rely on Rarible.com or another marketplace, for example, to buy items. So the buy order would be sent from this marketplace from that you're using, and you would send the sell order to the protocol. And once this order get matched to each other, so then the origin sell order fee and the origin buy order fee are respected, and both of these front ends gets the cut that they can actually choose. So you can take 50% on your sell order, and your seller would get only the 50% of the funds that got paid by the buyer. This is really important because we do understand that you need to build a sustainable business on top of the protocol. And moreover, actually, what we are going to introduce really soon, so it's in terms of weeks, it's the app mining program. So any I got distracted by the question in the chat. I will get back to that really soon. So any app that generated sell orders and buy orders on the protocol that got matched, that got executed. So you basically, if you brought the volume to the protocol, you will receive the Rarible governance token. You need to contact our DAO to set that up, but that's a long-term conversation. So that's the big vision. That's the big dream for us, to create a public good infrastructure governed by the users of that protocol, governed by people who build apps on top of the protocol. We distribute governance token to people who use protocol, and then all of these people together are contributing. The protocol is open source, are adding features to the protocol, and are making proposals to upgrade the smart contract and all sorts of things like that. So it's something that never been done on the internet. The protocol that is owned by their users and actually has an economic incentive. Like in the Web 2.0, all the protocols were just purely technical, and now they're technical and economical. So that's incredible. The question in the chat, any way to divide the gas fees for multiple ETH addresses? Not that I know. Probably your best luck is to use the meta transactions and the transaction relaying services that would pay the gas fees for you, and then to take these fees from separate wallets into one wallet and pay to the relayer service. That would be my best guess in how to achieve that. And so that's it. Again, instant monetization of the protocol and then app mining are really important parts of this protocol. Let me go through the documentation and API reference right now. So we have this docs.rarible.com. It's quite an extensive document, not good as we want it to be, but quite extensive, that shows you how to use API, that has this API reference, base URIs, URLs for mainnet, Rinkeby, and Ropsten, some information about how to build on the protocol and this protocol flow. So in order to let's get over that a little bit. In order to use the protocol in the proper way, in like all the features of the protocol, at first you need to create ERC 721 or 1155 asset and call the mint function. Yeah, that would be the creating of your asset. You can define the royalty scheme in the process. Then happens the asset discovery. That's the stage where the buyer is browsing the marketplace, your marketplace that you create. And as a result of that, either you just created an asset or you discovered any asset that you own, you can create a sell order for that asset. You can create a sell order for that asset, and you need to submit that sell order to the protocol backend. Then you can create a mutual buy order for that sell order. You can query the protocol for all the sell orders that are there for the specific item. For example, with an API like this, you get their API reference, order controller, and you get sell orders by item, for example. Yeah, you know the item, you can query the sell orders for that item. It would give you the structure like this that would give you the sell order. Or if you're creating an order, you can create, or you can use the create or update order functionality. But we'll get to that a little bit later. At first, how much time do we have, by the way?
We can go up to 90 minutes, but we can also end it in 60 minutes. So really, how much time you have available, it's really up to you. And we also note down the questions, so we could also answer them towards the end if you prefer to do that. So not to interrupt your flow of talking. Up to you really. Or you can also, if you want to, answer them in between.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, let me save time for all the questions in the end, just because I understand that there would be a lot. Probably it's good if there would be a lot.
Agree. I think it's good.
Yep. So again, we create a sell order, then we need to create a buy order to match it with the sell order. In order to do that, you need to submit a transaction. You can go to this match order. You can go to this match order page to understand how to do that. Okay, and aside from the matching orders, there is an updating or canceling an order function. Your next best link here would be this tutorials link on the left of the docs.rarible.com section. It has several links. The two best of them: signed typed data and the Scaffold ETH. The Scaffold ETH is the fork of the Scaffold ETH project that shows you how to get started with Rarible. Like it's your best get started. It's the custom app that allows you to see your collectibles, to mint, to lazy mint, to access the indexer, to access the order indexer, transfers, IPFS upload, download, and debug contracts. It's an amazing app done by Isaac, one of the members of our DAO. So that's your best starting point to learn how the protocol really works. Because it's open source, you can extend that and use that. That's a very, very good thing. So let me try to walk you through what you actually need to create an item, to create an order, to match an order, and then to execute the match. So the first step. So when you want to create an item, you need to call the smart contract. You need to call the smart contract function. It's called mint and transfer. And transfer, that's the smart contract function that you want to call. And it accepts two parameters. The first one is token ID, and the second one is token URI. And the third one is royalties. Yeah, so that's the three parameters that we send to the mint function. How to get these three parameters? So the first one, the token ID, you can get it by calling this function, generate token ID, on the API reference. Here on the right is some API endpoints, and it requires the argument of collection. You provide the collection address here. That's the default Rarible collection, and you call the generate token ID. Okay, that will give you the. You also need to pass the minter, just because your wallet is the part of the ID. We don't want people to mess with each other token space. That's why we made the minter as part of the ID, and that would answer you with this long ID that has your wallet and then the ID of the token. So that's the first parameter. Then you need the token URI. The token URI is the URI that you're building on the front end. You create the specific structure, just the EIP712, EIP721 metadata. You need to create this this metadata. Let me find. It's a part of the standard. So yeah, that's the metadata JSON schema. You need to create a JSON that would be conform with this schema, and you need to upload it to IPFS, for example. Let me find if there are any better links. Yeah. So if you want to get what can be the token schema, let's go here. So let's take the random Rarible token, and let's check its URI, its token URI. Okay, we'll take this one. We'll go to etherscan.com. We're going to find this contract. We're going to take this ID. We're going to go here, read contract, and get token URI. So this is the metadata URI. It's the thing that's stored on blockchain. It's going to get me redirected in 10 seconds. Just a second. Yeah, here is the JSON. Yeah, this is the exact token metadata. As you can see, it's quite simple. It just has the field name, image, external URL, and attributes, and description as well. So that's it. That's the NFT metadata, and the image is just another link to the IPFS. So at first you take your image, you take your media file, you upload it to IPFS, you take the link, you put it in the JSON structure under the field image, you add name, description, and external URL. You can skip the external URL as far as I remember, but I wouldn't recommend that. And you take the JSON structure and you upload that once again to the IPFS. This is how you get the token URI, and then you go to the contract and you mint a token with that token URI. That's how you create an asset. Let's get back here. So you've got this asset, you've got this generate token ID and token URI. Now you can go to the contract and mint your asset. What we're going to do next is we're going to, as soon as your item is created, it's going to become available by our item controller, which indexes all the items that are created on the Ethereum blockchain. You can query them by collection, by creator, by owner, all items, and then you can query the metadata of that item by ID. So as soon as you got your item indexed, or even before that, if you know the collection and ID of your item, you can actually start creating orders. We have this little function that's called encode order under encode controller that will help you to create an order for the item. It takes as a parameters a structure like that. So you need to use Rarible v2 as the type. Maker is the address of the wallet that creates the. So the maker and taker, this is the two parts that you need to really understand. So the maker and the make part of the order is something that you're willing to give when you're exchanging, and the taker and take is the part of the order that you want to get in request in response. That's the general order structure. It has the make part and the take part. So the sell order would be the order where the make part is an NFT, and the buy order would be the order where the make part is the money and take part is the NFT. So you're using maker, make. Here's the asset type. For example, if I want to create a sell order, I'm using the ERC721. I'm providing the contract and token ID here as the make part. And the value is for the ERC1155. For example, I want to sell 5 instances of the NFT that has this contract as an address and token ID. Contract as an address and token ID as this number. And then the taker, I'm leaving that empty. If I want to sell an NFT, I don't know who would be the taker of my NFT and leave that empty. But in the take, I want to get some ETH for my NFT. I put ETH here as the asset class, and I provide the value in ETH. That value is provided in a way, so it's 10 in the power of 18 multiplied by your number in ETH. For example, if I want to get 1 ETH in exchange for my NFT, I would put 1 and 18 zeros here. Salt is just a number as the random number that you use. And the data is the part where you need to choose the Rarible v2 data. And here you can specify the payouts and the origin fees. So origin fees is the fees of your front end that would be given to you once you match the order, and the payouts is the payouts is basically splits. If you want to split the payment for the NFT, you use this. So I've just explained to you all the fields that you need to submit to this little helper to actually create the order. So in response, you would get this structure. So this structure would give you the transfer proxy address. This is important. Yeah, please get me all your attention. This is the address that you need to create your approval for. So this is the address that would actually execute these orders, that would actually take your NFT if you're selling an NFT and would give it to the new owner. So you need to set the approval for all NFTs to this address. And then here would be this structure. The main struct type and types. It's the structure that you need to use in order to sign an order. So just remember, we created an order, but it isn't signed yet. So this is the EIP 712 signature. This is the signature standard that we use. You need to sign that order with the EIP 712 signature, and then you need to submit a signed order into order controller, create or update order function. It takes on the input the signed order, and it registers the signed order on the protocol. As soon as you submit the signed sell order here, your item gets automatically listed on Rarible and on every other marketplace that is using Rarible Protocol. So yeah, let us take a break here and reflect on what we have achieved. We created an NFT or ourselves in the Rarible collection anywhere. Then we took the collection address and token ID of that NFT, and we created an order for that. We used the small helper function that returned us an order that we need to sign. We signed that with MetaMask, and we submitted that back to the protocol. Now our item is automatically listed on every marketplace that is using Rarible Protocol. Now we want to buy that order. We want to buy the item. We want to match the sell order with the matching with the mutual buy order. In order to do that, we have another little helper. It's called PrepareTX for order. That helper allows us to prepare the transaction that matches the order that we have. Here is how you call that order. It has the hash function, hash as a token is the order ID, and then /PrepareTX. So what happens here? Imagine we have a sell order for 100 NFTs of ERC 1155 with the ID number 5, okay? But we want to buy only 5 of them. That's why when we want to create a buy order for that, we supply our address of the buyer as a maker. We supply amount as 5, these 5 NFTs that we want to buy. We supply payouts here. The payouts is, again, how do we want to split the money? But payouts is not how we want to split the money, it's how we want to split something that we've got. So here, if we are buying, that means that we will get an NFT. So we can send these NFTs to another address as the result of the order. You probably won't need that. And it's not required as far as I remember. And we have origin fees. You can submit your origin fees to that order. In response, what you would actually get, you would have another transfer proxy address. This is the transfer proxy address that you need to approve your ERC20 token to. So if you're selling an NFT for 100 DAI, then in order to buy that NFT, you would need to approve 100 DAI to that address, spend 100 DAI to that address, and then it would build you the exact transaction, the tool and data that you need to send to the actual to this contract attaching this data. If you're buying for ETH, you would also need to include the value of ETH from this field. So this is the helper that would build you the transaction to actually buy an item, buy an NFT. Okay, we're getting to the end of the time here. I probably want to finish that in 60 minutes with the questions as well. So I know that's hard, but that's why we have this Scaffold is apps and docs.rarible.com for you to use that as an example. But that's just the most flexible way to build the protocol. So if you want to sell an NFT and then buy it, you create the sell order and then you create the buy order using this specific PrepareTX order helper that would give you the exact transaction that you need to execute to buy. You can also do the other way around. At first, you can create the buy order. In order to create the buy order, you do all the same. When you encode an order as a make asset, you set up like ERC20 or ETH. And guess what? If you create the buy order first and then the sell order, that would be the bid and accepting the bid. So all the same, at first you created the buy order and then you use this buy order. You call the PrepareTX for order for this buy order. And what you've got the transaction to accept the bid. That's how Rarible.com uses that. So that would be it. Let's part to the question. I'll start with the last one. So the transfer proxy address is a unique address, and this is actually a Rarible contract, right? So the API uses one contract of Rarible. Is there any message or string from Rarible will be staying on NFTs minted by Rari API? If you used the NFT minted on Rari API, that would be minted inside the Rarible ERC 721 collection. So yes, there would be a mention of Rarible collection on the NFTs that are minted there. That's the second part of the question. The first part of the question, transfer proxy address is one of the Rarible's contracts. It's not the same contract that you use to match orders. It's another contract. Just because the architecture of our smart contracts is built this way that you use different, it has different contracts and one of them is calling another. So the contract that matches orders, it's calling this transfer proxy address, and this transfer proxy contract is actually calling the transfer to get your NFT and give it to the buyer. You believe without JRank says, I believe without sending a signature, we are unable to actually get a response. That depends on the actual endpoint that you're using. If you're using the endpoint for create or update the order, you need to submit a signed order there. If you use the encode controller, you submit the unsigned order there. Any way to keep some parts of the NFT locked until buyer receives an NFT, e.g. the minted NFT displayed on Rarible Marketplace shows 90% of the final version, full version visible upon successful transaction. So in order to do that, you can use unlockable content. Unlockable content is just another part of the NFT where you can set any text. Usually people are leaving links to the high resolution version of the media or something like that inside the unlockable part. Is there a way to extend the ERC 721 spec metadata with descriptive info that can be used by the ML/AI apps? You can extend the ERC 721 spec metadata any way you want, actually. That's the best part about NFTs. You can add in the JSON that we just described, you can add any fields there. It's just the name, description, and image are the ones that we're looking for, and we will look for them and we will read and parse them. Any other spec data that you left there would be available for you or use. the next question would be how royalty amount is transferred in secondary sales. So when the order, for example, we have the royalty amount in this. Let me show you here. Royalty schema. You can find it here on docs.rarible.com royalty schema. So we have two standards, royalties V2 and V1. Basically, that's the interface that your item should return if you want the item to have royalties included. We're calling the get royalties from the item ID, and it returns the array. It returns the array of tuples. In this tuple, the first item is the address, and the second item is the royalty. The royalty is set up in the basis points. So if you want to have royalties of 1%, that would be 100 basis points. If this item gets sold, then our smart contract is trying to call that function of the item contract, of the item ERC-721 contract. And if it gets an answer, so then our contract knows that there are royalties. It just takes them, the smart contract then takes these royalties from the total sum of money and sends the royalties first, and then makes the rest of the payouts to the seller. I missed a big part of the webinar. Is the recording I can watch? Thank you. I suppose this is being recorded, right?
Yes, absolutely. We record the session and we will share that on Slack as well as on Discord in the next 1 or 2 days with everyone.
Okay, amazing. So one of the questions was, again, can we build the front end and add as much of the smart contract as we understand? That's the best part of the Rarible protocol. You can actually build only front end and use all the Rarible smart contracts that are out there. You can use the minting contract, you can use the exchange contract, and you can use the back end indexing service to actually understand if the item was moved or if it was sold or bought. In order to do that, you're calling this order controller. You get sell orders by item, and this sell orders by item, they can be the orders have this field. So if the order is matched already, then that would be that field would be equal to the make value, this field, and that's how you understand that the item was sold. So you can use only front end and all the Rarible API and smart contracts to build a marketplace or minting tool or issuance tools, or another smart contract that would interact with the Rarible smart contract. It's a protocol to protocol interaction. You can use the EIP contract wallet signature. EIP 1271 is the standard signature validation method for contract. Rarible protocol supports this as well. Okay, we have a couple more minutes for the questions. Let's wait a couple minutes until we have all the questions. Otherwise, we can slowly start to wrapping it up.
Sounds good. I like that. Yeah, it was a really good, compressed session, 60 minutes. I think we covered a lot of grounds. Thank you so much, Alex, for that, right? For all of the participants, right, you all have the references to a lot of the, kind of subpages, API configurations, the documentation. You can find it all nicely in a neat overview on the Rarible subpage on nftvisionhack.com, or just go directly to the pages Alex have put up here. If you want to join Slack or Discord, usually you can join Slack or Discord by registering for NFT Vision Hack. You then get the invite links for Slack and Discord. For the people that have not done that, please make sure you do that. And yeah, also we have a lot of mentors. Alex is in the Slack. I'm not sure if you're also in Discord. I think so. We have Eric there. If you have any questions, just shoot them there. We will make sure to link you up with the right mentor person from Rarible Protocol, so to help you out with your development questions. And yeah, any more questions? Let me take a look at the chat. Is there anything new? Otherwise, I would say it was a really good session. Thank you so much, Alex, for making this work for us today. I really appreciate having you here. And yeah, thank you so much for sponsoring NFT Vision Hack and partnering with us on this one.
Thank you, Richard. It was amazing. Thank you all guys who have listened to me. I know that's hard, but as soon as you get into it, it doesn't look that hard.
Yeah, I think it was really, really nicely done. Yeah, thanks everyone. Hereby ending the session. Also stop the recording now, and I hope to see you all on our next workshop, which is tomorrow with Circle. Bye bye.